Hey there, Dango Stu here. Today's video is about fixing a fuel pump when one of the inlet or outlet barbs has snapped off. I don't know if you remember when I took the motor off the green machine, but the fuel pump had already sort of been fixed with a really dodgy sort of brass barb like this, really bad sort of glue and tap job. But Arne has shown me that there's this part that looks like this that was originally sold as a BMW part for repairing the plastic nipples on radiators when they die, and still had a couple left in his toolbox, so we're going to give this a go.
No. Arne's too shy. He's too shy to be in the video, so he's hiding behind a bonnet. Come on, wait. That's it.
This fuel pump's from a Yamaha 64-stroke, and apparently it's quite common for these to break because the cowling has quite a bit of flex in it, and this is right at the back of the cowling, so if the cowling gets pushed in, it'll almost always snap this barb off. A little bit of a design fault, but a new pump is about $200 roughly. You can buy just this centre section, which is a bit cheaper, but it's almost worth just getting the pump just for the convenience. Anyway, so what we're going to do, I actually started with this one. I'll show you here. This was a rough break. I don't know if you can see that. So I've just put that on a wheel to grind it smooth. So that was sort of step one. Next thing I'm going to do is take this pump apart just so we don't get any, well, A, we don't damage any internals because I need to tap that hole now. And also just so we don't get any of the shavings inside the pump. Now, what I like about these ones is they've got a 6mm thread on them, and the internal diameter here is just below that. So without even drilling it, we should be able to tap this out and thread this in quite nicely without having all that mess. The other one I put in, I had to drill the pump out, which made it a bit thin, which I think is going to hold quite nicely. The downside to this one is that the internal diameter is smaller than that. So there will be a bit of restriction. So I'm going to be interested to see whether, once I get this on, whether there's any issues with being able to supply enough fuel when you're running at full throttle. So we'll see. So the tap we're after here, this is a 1mm thread pitch. You can get these little thread pitch gauges. And so it's a 1mm thread pitch and 6mm diameter.
Just clean that out, it's fine now. It's all tapped.
So hopefully you can see that on camera. It's now got the thread tapped inside, ready to put the fitting in. I'm going to put a bit of this Worth motor seal, so it's essentially just a fuel oil proof sealant. Just a bit of a dob on the end. No. There's an 8mm spanner on the end of these fittings, so I'm just going to wind it in until it feels pretty firm, because this plastic cracks pretty easily, hence doing this job in the first place. I reckon that'll do it. So not too bad, certainly a lot neater than the other one I did on the green machine. So I'll put this pump back together, whack it on the boat, and then we'll go do a few runs and make sure it supplies enough fuel through that aperture. On the bolts that hold the fuel pump together, I'm just going to put a bit of Loctite. Just squeeze forever to get any of this motor seal out, and then Loctite's gone flying everywhere. Arne's been making a few calls trying to find out what the BMW part number is for these little fittings. So when I find out, I'll put the part number in the description. And if we can get a whole stack more, then I'll put some on our Chandlery website as well, so you can order them from there. That's all back together now. I'm actually pretty happy with that fitting, I must admit. It works really nicely. So provided we get the fuel flow we need, I reckon that's a win. So I'll get it back on the boat and we'll do some testing.
So we've got the new fuel pump, well, the fixed fuel pump on. The only minor concern we have is whether having a reduced inner diameter means that it can't supply enough fuel at full throttle. Arnie tells me that because it's on the intake side of the pump, we should be pretty safe. And also the other thing on our side is that this fuel pump, I believe, is used for quite a range of horsepower motors, used up to the 115, I think. So if it can supply enough fuel to run a 115 at full throttle, I think there's no trouble with it supplying a 60 horsepower at full throttle, even with this slight reduced internal diameter. So I think we're going to be pretty safe. All right, it's almost together. We'll just finish this up and then we'll go for a bit of a blat. Worse than that.
I noticed you put one of our quality stainless steel ones on the fitting that we replaced.
And what's special about those, they're good for fuel line because they don't have sections cut out of them, so they don't cut the line or something.
Exactly.
Is that what it is? So what?
Designed for EFI hoses.
Yeah, right. Nothing but the best for our customers. Although it is Pedley's boat, so... Actually, to be perfectly honest with you, Dave's away at the moment. This is his boat. And yes, I did break it, and I'm trying to fix it before he gets home from his ski trip. Hopefully he doesn't watch this video.
Shh.
Shh. We're hunting rabbits.
Well, you weren't actually using it when it broke.
No, exactly.
So it's not really your fault.
It wasn't, it was nature's fault.
Yeah.
You may notice the apron's missing as well.
Show me that again. What section's that?
The apron, the midsection apron.
What happened to that?
It got smashed at the same time as the fuel pump, but I bought him a nice new one, so he'll never know.
And how much did that cost us, Stu?
Too much. More than my whole outboard.
200 too much.
Yeah. All right.
And here comes the rain again.
I know. Quick, get under cover and we'll go for a spin. Actually, I'll see if it leaks. When I didn't realise this fuel pump had broken, and I was here priming it with the cowling off. It was an absolute geyser.
Started.
So I reckon if we can do a lap of the island, full throttle, and it doesn't burn up a valve, we'll know it hasn't gone lean. What do you reckon?
It can't run lean because it's filling the carburetor.
It's EFI.
Oh, is it? No, it's not.
Yeah. It is, definitely.
Looks like garbage to me.
Nah.
Sure?
Yeah. 100%. Alright, let's go.
Already.
Come on, Ed. Stay on.
Get that down here, dog. You watch where we're going.
What do you reckon, Ed?
So thanks for watching. I hope this video helps you if you have this problem. This is a nice cheap way out of it. I can't 100% vouch for it. I think that boat ran quite nicely, and if it was my boat, I certainly would be happy to run with that fix. Because it's not my boat, I've actually gone and put a new fuel pump in there, because I think if it's sort of a customer's boat or whatever, you've kind of got to do things by the book. But if you're doing it yourself and it's your boat and it is at the lower horsepower range, then I think I'd be pretty comfortable with this. So I'll leave it up to you guys to make a call whether you want to fix it this way and save yourself a couple $100, really, because that's what it is. But just be aware that there are potentially some downsides if that fuel restriction becomes critical, if your boat's running right at the limit of what the pump can supply. All right, anyway, thanks again. If you enjoyed, please rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.